Hello, this is Lynn Stoddard from the Institute for Sustainable Energy at Eastern Connecticut State University. And my partner and I are pleased to present on university partnerships that build equitable and sustainable communities from multiple campuses. And my colleague from the College of New Jersey will introduce herself as she starts. So we're going to talk today about equitable sustainable community programs that are run in partnerships with universities. We've got a couple of great examples here at Eastern and the College of New Jersey and others in Minnesota where the conference is being hosted. We want to talk about the benefits to universities, the foundation we have in equity, and how we're scaling these programs nationally. So let's start with a little bit about what these community sustainability partnerships are and who the partners are. I'm here at Eastern Connecticut State University, as I said, at the Institute of Sustainable Energy. We coordinate Eastern's sustainability and climate initiatives. We also developed and administered Sustainable CT, which is our community certification program. We're 100% grant funded, and we have a counterpart in the Center for Sustainable Energy Studies, which teaches students sustainable energy curriculum. Sustainable CT, the program we developed, was created by municipal leaders across the state, our institute, and many other partners. We launched in 2017, and our goal is to foster inclusive, resilient, and vibrant communities across Connecticut that provide opportunities for all to thrive. We do this through a roadmap of coordinated actions, so voluntary best practices for towns to take in sustainability, providing resources to help towns implement these actions, and then we recognize towns through certification for the achievements they've made. And these are commonalities in many of the sustainable communities programs in other states as well. Our actions span much more than environmental sustainability. We include equity, economic sustainability, arts and culture, clean transportation, and so on. So basically, in a nutshell, we say, what makes a community a great place to live for all residents? And that includes all these things: affordable housing, health and wellness, materials recycling and materials management, energy systems, and so on. So of those actions in those major categories we talked about, we have lots of resources to help towns implement them. So we have workshops and training. We have a fellowship program I'll talk about in a little while, many partners that offer technical support, and we have coaches that help our towns with equity and inclusion. And of course, one of the most important things to towns is being recognized for their accomplishments. So as you can see here in Connecticut and in our sister states, we have big ceremonies where mayors can stand in front of each other and be recognized for their accomplishments. Here's a map showing the degree of participation across Connecticut of the many towns engaged in our program. I'm going to hand it over to Sam now.
Great, thanks so much, Lynn. So Sustainable Jersey is a nonprofit organization administered by the Sustainability Institute at the College of New Jersey. And the Sustainable CT program was modeled off the Sustainable Jersey program. So we share a lot of the same components and features of the program in terms of certification and different actions and whatnot. So our program provides tools, training, and financial incentives to support communities as they pursue their sustainability programs. It was started as an informal partnership among a number of parties that has evolved significantly over time. So back in 2006, the College of New Jersey was funded by the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation to create a Sustainable Communities Leadership Network. And then around the same time, a group of mayors, part of the New Jersey League of Municipalities, was coming together to form a Green Mayors group that was working on a lot of similar initiatives as well. Additionally, at that time, the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities were also working on a number of sustainable community-related initiatives. So all four of these groups came together and began to collaborate and eventually formed Sustainable Jersey, which launched in 2009. In 2014, Sustainable Jersey and the New Jersey School Boards Association launched Sustainable Jersey for Schools, which is designed specifically for New Jersey's public school districts and public charter schools. So similar to the municipal program, we convened a number of experts, local school officials, educators, and other stakeholders to determine the scope of the program. There was a kickoff meeting at the College of New Jersey in 2013, and then the program officially launched in October of 2014. And both programs encompass actions that municipalities and schools complete for certification that cover a variety of categories, covering the three equal interrelated components of sustainability: people, planet, and prosperity.
So I'm going to jump back in again and tell you about another program in Minnesota that's similar. It's called Minnesota Green Step Cities. It's a sustainability best practice program geared towards cities and tribal nations in Minnesota. It's managed by the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. Similar things, a list of actions focused on energy, many partners, state agencies, the League of Minnesota Cities, Clean Energy Resources teams, and recognizing towns for their great actions. I did want to mention that Morris, the town where this conference is virtually hosted, is a Green Step city, and that many University of Morris employees are actively involved in the sustainability work here. I mentioned the CERTs, these partners in this program, Clean Energy Resource Teams. They are a partnership led by the University of Minnesota Regional Sustainable Development Partnerships and the University of Minnesota Extension. As you can see, providing hand-on assistance to communities across the state that links into the Green Step Cities program. So we want to spend some time now talking about what are the real benefits of these partnership programs that are out there to help our communities become more sustainable, but intricately linked with the colleges. So we'll talk about the things that are important to most of us as colleges: recruitment, retention, community engagement, applied learning, and so on. So recruitment, I'm sure you're all familiar with this, that the Princeton Review surveys students, college applicants every year, and has shown increasing interest in the college's environmental commitment as a criteria for college selection. In fact, it jumped from 66% of college applicants and their parents to 75% this past year of saying that a college's environmental commitment would affect their decision about which college to attend. So clearly programs run out of universities that are doing this broad sustainability work and kind of showcasing their commitment throughout the state are very important for the visibility and recruitment.
So at the College of New Jersey, the Sustainability Institute is the largest grant-funded institute on campus, which, and our affiliation with TCNJ really kind of gives us the best of both worlds. So TCNJ is an institution of the state, which enables the Sustainability Institute to receive state contracts that don't have to go out to bid. And then as the nonprofit, Sustainable Jersey, we can apply for grants that are only open to nonprofit organizations. And then we do receive an indirect expense on those grants, and that goes towards the college. Also, our staff are employees of the College of New Jersey. There's a lot of resources on campus that are available to assist us with our efforts. For example, we do a lot of conferences and in-person events where we'll be printing big posters and things like that. And we're able to do all of that printing in-house via TCNJ's printing services. The college also receives a lot of visibility from Sustainable Jersey. We frequently hold program meetings and events on campus. We administer a grants program for municipalities and schools participating in the program. And every time we have a cycle and we award the recipients, we hold a grant announcement event. And we frequently hold those grant announcement events on campus. For example, we have a very close relationship with the New Jersey Education Association, who sponsors one of our Sustainable Jersey for Schools grant cycles. And so we hold that event on campus, and it's a great opportunity for former students who graduated from the College of New Jersey that might be teaching in public schools and have been awarded a grant to come back to the campus. Also, we're able to share with them some of the graduate opportunities that are available to them on campus as well. We also mentioned our Institute affiliation on program materials and presentations. On our website, you can see there's a screenshot down here of the bottom of our website. So we're always, sharing that connection as well. And then the Sustainability Institute itself has its own page as part of the TCNJ website, where prospective students, other faculty and staff, students potentially looking for internships can learn more about the Sustainability Institute's work and the Sustainable Jersey and Sustainable Jersey for Schools programs. There's a lot of campus connections that we've been able to make as well. So we are partnering with the School of Education on a climate education through learning standards initiative. We're also exploring a partnership with the engineering department and computer science department on STEM education. We partnered with the health department on health and equity action development for our program. We work with the Bonner Scholars Program. Their students assist with research and data projects for our energy team. We also offer internships that are paid, unpaid, and apply for credit hours for students as well. And then staff and faculty will also assist with our certification action reviews and also our grant application reviews. So there's a lot of really great campus connections and synergy that we've been able to make being located at the College of New Jersey.
Great, this is Lynn again. I'm going to hop in and talk a little bit about applied learning opportunities through Sustainable CT at Eastern Connecticut State University. So just in this past year, we have 2 students working on a social work practicum, a bunch of students in a social work practicum this spring researching composting options for one of our towns. We have 2 communications internships, credit interns, doing some video projects of local sustainability projects throughout the state this summer. We have our Center for Community Engagement, which is always engaging volunteers, students as volunteers in community projects. So we match those up. Here's a picture of a tree planting project that we helped fund that Eastern students were involved in. And here at the Institute for Sustainable Energy, we have student interns throughout every semester in the summer that help run Sustainable CT and the other work that we're doing. So great opportunity for applied learning. One of the main programs I want to highlight is our Sustainable CT Fellowship Program and how that prepares students for employment and careers. We employ 12 to 15 college students who live or study in Connecticut each summer for full time. They are, in the first 3 years, we had 40 students that provided over 1,500 hours of direct hands-on support to Connecticut towns. So we train them up in the Sustainable CT program and sustainability actions in our roadmap, and they work directly to help towns implement those and apply for certification. You can see that this is just some of the universities that are represented. So some of these students are from Connecticut, attending school outside of the state, even as far as the University of Groningen in the Netherlands, and others are students from Connecticut or other states that are actually studying here at Eastern or Southern or Conn College or Yale, Trinity, and UConn, so on. So it's a great partnership with many, many universities. And this is way too long to read, but this represents the major fields of studies of the students who are hired as fellows for us. So we span every discipline: poli-sci, environmental science and natural resources, of course. We've got music majors, neuroscience majors, French majors, global change. So it's just very broad. What they all have in common is they're smart students who are interested in helping change communities and public policy and what's happening at the local level. Here's an example of a testimonial from one of our students who worked we placed them in our regional planning agencies, essentially acknowledging the great people, the interesting work with towns, and kind of if you're a student from many different majors, it's a really valuable opportunity for you. We also have testimonials from the towns and the Council of Governments, which are our regional planning agency, about how valuable these fellows are to the work that they're doing with sustainability and how attractive they are as potential future employees. In fact, three of our former fellows have been hired directly by cities they were working with during their fellowship after they graduated as full-time employees. Another former fellow was hired by the regional planning agency she was working for. One of our former fellows from last year has been elected to our board of directors for Sustainable CT, which is awesome. She's our youngest board member. And last week, we just hired a former fellow to join our team as a program assistant. So these are just the ones we're aware of, but it's an amazing job pipeline for employability for these students. Another benefit to universities, Sam talked a little bit about it, is just the visibility we get around the state for the work we're doing in communities. And that's always mentioning that we are based at Eastern Connecticut State University and providing these services statewide to communities. So great visibility and PR. And finally, just kind of a summary of the benefits to universities is we are aligning with the university's leadership commitments. So Eastern has committed to become carbon neutral. We're helping communities become more carbon friendly. And so we're really walking the talk of what the university has committed to out there in towns and cities across the state. I want to talk a little bit about equity as a foundation to sustainability. We believe that towns must be welcoming and provide opportunities for all. In fact, in our certification program, equity is the only required action. We have what we call an equity toolkit, which walks towns through a process to become more inclusive, cohesive, and representative. Here are the steps. You can come back and look at the PowerPoint slides a little bit later, but we're basically walking towns through this process of identifying who lives in our communities, how they connect with each other, get into a dialogue, and then change municipal decision-making based on that by co-creating some solutions or policies for the town. Here's an example of an equity project in Hartford. They wanted to put in rain barrels for stormwater runoff and water harvesting. Instead of just going out as a town and getting these out there, they employed youth in the neighborhoods to go door to door and teach their neighbors about the use of rain barrels and stormwater runoff, and in their own language and with kind of as trusted people within the neighborhoods, which was a huge element of the success of this program. A similar equity application in Glastonbury, looking at their farmers market and identifying barriers, lack of information, lack of transportation, cost barriers, special challenges for low and income residents. They made pop-up farmers markets and shuttles to get people to these farmers markets to overcome some of these equity barriers. Finally, we have funding for community-led projects across Connecticut where we support project leaders in projects such as this, a bike repair and program to get bikes out into the community, and we match the dollars that these project leaders raise through crowdfunding, dollar for dollar. Here's another one showcasing a project where they were bringing energy services to low-income homeowners with high energy costs. And another one of renovating a community space in Hartford for a community garden and play area for kids. Back to you, Sam.
So since the founding of Sustainable Jersey in 2009 and Sustainable Jersey for Schools in 2014, social equity has been integral to the holistic vision of a sustainable future, guiding the mission of both of the programs. So municipalities participating in our program are actively implementing many Sustainable Jersey actions that directly advance social equity and inclusion in their communities, such as removing lead in drinking water, community food pantries, as well as actions that build the capacity of municipalities to do the essential work. So diversity and equity on boards and commissions, improving public engagement in municipal governing, and more. And we will be adding more equity promoting actions in the coming months and years. Our program does provide support to racially diverse, lower income and lower capacity municipalities to take advantage of our program through our targeted outreach and technical assistance, and also direct assistance in implementing actions, obtaining our grants, and achieving certification. Similarly, in the schools program, schools are also implementing actions that make a significant impact promoting social equity. These include actions like diversity on district task forces and commissions, inclusive environments where all can thrive, breakfast after the bell, and education for sustainability. Our digital schools program launched in 2020 to integrate new content that strengthens support for schools in meeting the challenges of digital learning. And the program overall helps narrow and bridge the racial and economic gap in educational outcomes, known as the digital divide. It really does empower New Jersey public schools to address social inequities and whatnot. Similar to the municipal program, it also provides support to schools in racially diverse, lower income, and lower capacity districts to take advantage of the program through all those same means: targeted outreach and technical assistance, implementing the actions, obtaining our grants, and achieving certification. So Sustainable Jersey is in the process of developing an equity and anti-racism declaration, which will commit Sustainable Jersey to a number of key actions to become more equitable, inclusive, and better prepared to do the work of advancing social justice while supporting municipalities and schools in New Jersey to do the same. And we will be posting this declaration on our website in the very near future. Just to also give you a little bit of background, so back in 2017, Sustainable Jersey embarked on an internal initiative to integrate social equity more intentionally across the program. The learning and accomplishments from the first 2 years of that ongoing initiative are encapsulated in our 2020 publication, Advancing Social Equity Through the Sustainable Jersey Program Analysis and Potential. Basically, the report details a collaboratively developed framework for understanding and defining social equity, the results of a systematic audit and screening of all the actions in the municipal certification program for potential equity impacts and gaps, and an analysis of municipal performance in the certification and the grants program. And following the release of the report, the equity screen was adopted as an affirmative standard for all new actions.
So we're going to end the presentation talking about how we're accelerating and scaling these programs nationally. Sustainable Jersey and Sustainable CT are part of the Sustainable States Network, which includes 14 states with 15 different programs serving over 2,000 municipalities and 65 million people, with programs similar to the ones that Sam and I have talked about. Many of those have a component of university partnerships. Here's an example of something we did with the Sustainable States Network this spring and Yale University and Sustainable CT. We wanted to showcase municipal best practices and stories across the country. So we held a virtual lecture series. You can see the topics. We heard about net zero communities from folks in California, Massachusetts. So all of these sustainability topics from mayors and municipal leaders in different cities across the country. Really powerful for them to reach outside of their states and learn from others. The value of our network is that we learn from each other, we mentor to new state programs, we collaborate, we have joint grant proposals, we help program development that benefits all programs, and that finally we're scaling from going in this lever of local action to create change to statewide impacts within each of our programs to actual national transformation on some of these issues like climate change and sustainability. Thank you for your patience and your attention. I'm Lynn, you heard from Sam, and Lola is the network coordinator for the Sustainable States Network. So here's our contact information if you have any questions. Thanks for your interest.
Thank you.